ever had to get back on the horse? Metaphorically, of course. It means trying something again after you failed it before, even if it's really scary. You've probably heard of the fight or flight response, which, for your viewing pleasure today, I have personified into little guys. When we come across what we think is dangerous, we either fight the dangerous thing or flee from it. That was really helpful, back in the day. However, the problem is when you have something like an anxiety disorder, what your brain might perceive as worth fighting or flighting isn't always actually dangerous. Why am I wanting to flee second period geography? I have had problems with anxiety my entire life, and my body seems to be incapable of telling the difference between something like a tummy ache and being held at gunpoint. When my anxiety was at its worst, doing normal things, everyday things was hard, and doing new things, fun things, was even harder. I remember being 13 years old on this outdoorsy school trip which had these high ropes. They're obstacle courses in the trees, essentially. And I was the only person in my group that didn't complete a single course. My body was screaming at me that I couldn't do it. So what was I meant to do? Do it anyway? No! The thing is, sometimes in life, you have to do it anyway. What? For a very long time, it felt like when I was posed with fight or flight, fight was greyed out. My options were actually or flight.
Cake or death? Cake, please. Well, we're out of cake, so my choice is or death. Well, I'll have the chicken then, please.
It got to the point where my anxiety dictated what I could and could not do, to the point of becoming a problem. That usually works. A few years ago, I went on holiday with my ex, and I didn't expect anything to go wrong, but I unexpectedly began to be a kind of anxious that I could not shake. It was sickeningly all-consuming. I felt trapped in a foreign country, trapped in my body, and I did not know what to do. So not even 24 hours after arriving, I booked myself an early flight home. It completely knocked my confidence. How am I ever meant to do anything or go anywhere ever again? No one else I knew struggled like this. Is this what life looks like now? Oh, hey horsey. I was due to go on holiday again, this time with my family, not even a month later, and I was terrified. And I'm painfully aware that it sounds silly or ungrateful to be so scared of something that's meant to be fun, but when you don't feel good, you can't see the fun. I spoke to family and I spoke to friends, and everybody encouraged me to try again, to get back on the horse after having fallen so very hard before. Here we go. I gathered comforting items to bring with me, I'd got medical help, and I was prescribed a new medication to try. I was as prepared as I could be, but even still, on the morning of our flight, I was quietly crying while packing the final bits of my suitcase. You'd have thought I was being sent somewhere terrible, like France. But I stuck to my guns. I rode all of the waves of anxiety while on the plane, while in the cab to the hotel, while trying to fall asleep that night. And the next day, I woke up, I got in the pool, and as I was floating there, I realized, wait, I feel fine right now. Not even 24 hours after arriving, I was having a genuinely good time. And I became so glad I tried. I was so glad I went. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't like a magical solution. I still struggled, but it was nowhere near as bad as I thought it could be. I paced myself to make sure I wasn't overwhelmed. For example, I skipped out on going to a meal at a restaurant. So while they went out to eat, I got dinner by myself in the hotel. And then I went to the beach and on my own went and had a look at the rock pools and had a lovely time trying to identify all of the funny little creatures that resided in them. And it made me realise that despite these incredibly big lows I have had, I wouldn't have been able to do this a few years ago. I wouldn't have been able to go and get dinner by myself, and I wouldn't have been able to go and hang out on the beach by myself. Amongst the low,
there was still progress, and I think that's really important to remember.
I had therapy later that year, and I became increasingly aware that the ability to push through and cope is a bit like a muscle. Just like how regularly lifting weights would make it easier over time to pick up heavy objects, actively practicing coping techniques makes it easier for you to be able to cope. I still get nervous about travel and other things too, but I feel way more in control than I did. And 13 years after I had that bad time on those high ropes at that school trip, I went to a different high ropes place with my friends, and as I stood on the edge of a wooden platform, harnessed up and peering over the edge that I was about to free fall from, I heard my body screaming for me to not do it, and I did it anyway.
My waitress is bringing me a cake, hand delivered to me. Thanking you much. Oh, it's a good day to be me.
Oh, it's a little toy. Hello.